Hello degenerates and welcome back. We have Rosanna, electric waifu, 40-second PvP character. She finally got a treasure. So, is this treasure good for PvE? I am not going to be talking about PvP. You all know I don't do PvP and I will never give advice on something I don't do. I enjoy my PvE and my team building and japping about characters. That's about it, nothing else, okay? That's it. Let's talk a little bit about Rosanna. I thought she was gonna be like by far the worst of this batch, and she is the worst of this batch, but she's not as bad as I was making her to be. So she has the same situation as, if you guys remember, one of the characters that I dislike the most, Celine. And it's not because of the design, which also, but it's because Celine literally only has one thing that makes her good, and that is the cooldown reduction. It's nothing else. Celine whole kit, it's literally nothing. You don't care about it. It's just the cooldown reduction. And we are on a similar situation with Rosanna. So first of all, she's phase 2, not phase 3. What does change? Well, on phase 1, we are changing the skill 2. It doesn't matter much because what it's gonna be changing is basically that you're gonna be getting more attack for yourself, right? Like that's basically it. You will be doing more damage as a sub DPS selfish character, but you are not buffing anything, you're not doing anything else, okay? So you will be getting a lot of attack for yourself, but it's for yourself, affects one unit here, which is dealing damage, and for yourself, nothing else. Phase 2, it's the good one, and this is the important one. And this is, if we scroll down right here, activates if the target that was hit by Assalto, which is just simply this skill, okay, Assalto, is a water code stage target. Affects the target. Now, stage target, as you guys can see, is usually the elite enemies or the boss. That's it, okay? So, when the boss is water code, you will be applying damage taken 24 at level 10. It's 30% for 30 seconds. So even as a 40-second, you will have 100% uptime on this damage taken, which is great. It is great. Damage taken is a fantastic debuff, and it's why a lot of the characters we currently have in game are good and still meta and viable, right? Because they have great damage taken. Even some characters that get less usage initially were so good because of the damage taken, like Ludmilla, right? So it is a good buff. That is literally everything that matters for this kid. This is why she is decent, but at the same time, it's dog shit because it's so hard to justify bringing her into anything that is not solo raid. And then you have the phase 3, which what it's going to be doing, and it's also decent, but kind of expensive, it's right here. Activates, well, it's only for herself, so we'll go back into the same thing. Removes 5 buffs. Okay, so starting from the beginning here, for herself is again more crit rate and more buffs, which is the concealment. After performing 10 normal attacks, once again just damage and removes buffs from a target. And when the stage target appears, which is just simply once again the boss or an elite, elemental advantage like damage increased by 17% continuously for herself. So this is a selfish DPS. Selfish DPS. For PvE, it's not awful. You can bring her, and she will be good just because of this damage taken. That's it. Now, with that damage taken, we also have the second problem. This is a 40-second B1, so you need another B1 on the team. Realistically speaking, the only one with good synergy for Rosanna, it's going to be Siren, because she is the one with synergy with machine guns, so you can have decent rotations. You cannot use... you could use Moran, but Moran is team 1, team 2, okay? So that's almost out of the equation. You cannot use Anis because you cannot put her with another B1 being 40 seconds. You kind of break both of them, right? And then the other B1s are not as good, and we go back into the same issue of rotations being pretty bad, right? So you need, in most situations, you're gonna be Siren. And then you also have the other question, which is what B2 and B3 you are using here. If we're talking about electric, before I show damage number comparisons, right? You have a character that will go into team 1, team 2. Those are your Neon, your Cindy, and nowadays your Isabel, because you can run her with Arcana. And they are your 3 main damage dealers in electric at the moment, with Anis, if you want to include her as a damage dealer. So Annie's gonna be included there too. But you have those three that are already damage dealers, and they are already team 1, team 2. Now you have also the new 2 damage buffers with Flora, with Takina, etc. So you are not really gonna be putting the Miranda creep team with these 2. You could, but there is no CDR unless you bring Dola, which is awful, right? So Miranda creep team is also out of the equation for these 2 characters that are usually paired in there. So you don't have many options left. You have characters that are buffers, they go into their other teams, both of them, right? And then who is left to put on this team where you would be running Rosanna? Your Scarlet? Last time, on the last raid, if we go into Enik, on the last electric raid, if I remember correctly, people were not even running electric DPSs. They were just running the leftover teams because there was nothing else. Oh, is Enik being slow today? Okay, there we go. Electric raid, which was a Gobista. We go into ranks just to check what people were running in the top of the leaderboards. Can I load the ranks? There we go. Kira, and as you guys can see, on the team 5, I think it's a team 5, the only electric character here was Jill, and just for that electric QT, nothing else. And like I said earlier, mates team are kind of a staple. If it's not mates, it's idols. Your Moran, you could be putting her in here, but kind of XD. And your team 1, most likely, it's going to be your Isabel with your Cinderella, right? Because this team is doing really, really, really good for electric raids. So the biggest problem with Rosanna is not that she sucks like I thought she was going to be. Is that she's a 40-second B1 that you can barely slot anywhere. The other situation where you could be thinking, okay, maybe for raids it's hard to slot her. It's possible, by the way. So I think I could be a bit honest here and be like, okay, I can see her as a T4, T3 character. T3 is maybe too much. Okay? I don't think it's a T3 just because how hard it is to slot. Because T3 is someone like Isabel, which is the best electric or on the best electric team at the moment, right? And even Jill should probably be moved down to T4 because Jill has done nothing recently. So it's really hard to put her, and then you might be thinking, okay, what about Tower? I can run her in Tower at least as a buffer because of the damage taken. She only works on electric weak stages and on Tetra. Who are you going to be benefiting in here? Even if you assume, okay, she can debuff, you don't need to put her with electric DPSs because this is simply for the target, right? But still, who are you going to be running here as your Tetra B3 with her? There is not that many options. So even for Tower, it's hard to justify bringing her. Now, Rosanna staff on range, just on a team that will never happen because you are not running her there. If I go into Moran, Crown, Rosanna, Neon Vision Eye Helm, she's doing 4 billion Neon in here, just hyper buffing Neon, okay. And then we switch to Naga, she's doing 3.9. So it's like, okay, yeah, she can be doing better than a character like Naga, which Naga is mostly a boss for cores. Sorry, a character for bosses with cores. So it's kind of like not a fair comparison, but whatever. Then we can switch and instead for Maid Mass, the usual, and it's going to be a huge discrepancy from 4 build to 4.7. And then just a more realistic team, but again, you would not be running Crown in here, even if there is good synergy with Little Mermaid, because Crown will be going for your best team, maybe your team 2. She's never anywhere else, right? So, like I said, a disappointment in the sense of how hard it is to justify recommending to people to invest in her. Something that I can see people finding ways of making it work on electric raids, but outside of solo raid, she has no usage. Not for campaign, not for tower, because you cannot really run her unless it's a weird composition you will be running, because your V1 on Tetra will be always Anis, and you cannot put Rosanna and Anis together. So I would not really recommend building the Rosanna treasure unless she is your wife, or unless you are an electric main trying to make her work on specific team compositions. If you guys find good compositions for her, please do let me know. I would love to test them and see if I can find somewhere to slot her, because I do love Rosanna, but sadly she's one of those characters that since release to me was shafted because I don't do PvP, and she will have never any usage for me. That's it. That's basically everything for this one. As usual, You guys have the links in the description down below for everything. I want to test a little bit more Rosanna to see what I want to put her on the tier list. Like I said earlier, most likely Jill will be moving down to T4, and maybe a couple more characters that have barely gotten any usage recently will be going down to T4. And I expect to put her in there as well, because she feels like one of those characters that it's pretty hard to just slot anywhere, right? That's it. Enough jumping, enough ranting. As usual, good luck with your pool day rates. I don't know how to speak, guys. I've been today playing too much League. Good luck with your pool day rates. I will see you on the next one. Bye, 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 bye.